Hello everybody, Cell here, and welcome to part 2 of my town's playthrough. Part of the 30 Days of Gaming. So last time we went and we created the almighty town known as The, which was very descriptive. And here we went and we've now begun going and having our lovely home coming into shape. We have bedrooms, which we'll now be able to go and put some beds in. Because here, let's see, I believe beds. Is that under furniture for beds? I think it may be furniture. Yep, wooden bed. This requires 3 wood. But since we're on that concept of wood, I very quickly gotta do something. These bushes here. What we can do is actually, I believe, harvest said bush. Nope. You cut the bush. Yeah, if you cut said bush. Oh no. Robin, why did you do that? Anyways, cut bush. Cut bush. Oh, you're a pear bush. Oh, that'll be cool. But I don't need to cut you just yet. I will, though. Alright, so there we go. So we'll cut those bushes right there. So these bushes here. Who knows? Oh, trees in our building area, but whatever. So we're gonna go and till some grass here. And this grass right here will become a tree farm. So as we have a wheat farm, we'll have a tree farm, which will allow us renewable source of trees, which is, again, very handy. The next thing as well, we'll go and get a cow farm, which I believe we have some cows around here. We get more. Oh, there we go. There's 1 cow. I think we may need 2 cows. Oh, and there's 2 cows. Perfect, perfect. Anyways, so out there done with that planting, and we'll just plant a good old-fashioned plane tree, which will go right here. So here people will go, grab the bushes that we have sitting around, and bring them on in, and voila. I just have to watch them, make sure they don't go too far to go and fulfill the need of bushes, as we don't want them getting into any form of combat while going and obtaining the bush. Because that would not end well. Okay, so next is decorative. Indoor. Did we make any lighting yet? So it is dark in there, but I guess they won't mind really right now. But nevertheless, we now have all these trees planted, which will go and enable us to have a few bushes, which will now allow us to have a renewable tree resource. Alright, and then we'll go like this, harvest the trees and the wheat. That's allowing the circle to continue. For some reason, they aren't putting it in a raw food stockpile. I think it may be prepared food, which would not make much sense, but okay. Prepare food. I'm just gonna make a small little 4x4 grid right there. Prepare food. Oh, yep, fruit is considered a prepared food, even though, I really wouldn't consider it prepared, but, I guess you could consider it prepared, saying that it is a type of, you don't have to go and cook it, it's just kind of already there. Okay, so now we go over here. We harvest those wheat. And soon, before you know it, we're going to have a big old wheat farm. It's full of wheat, which will be handy because we're going to go and use that wheat for awesome purposes. Anyway, speaking of which, let's now begin going and making our next zone. Which we'll see. What do we need to go and make bread? We need utility. Alright. We require a baker's table and a baker's oven, which requires us to have a carpenter's bench and a mason's bench. So thus we need a mason bench, which means we need, for our zone, we need a masonry, which will go right in here. That's right there. And there we go. So now we have a masonry. So now we go into here and we build a mason's bench. which will go right there. Again, cakewalk, really. And while we're on the case of, cakewalks and stuff, let us as well favorably off topic, sorry. Let us go and chop down some more trees. As we are in need of a little bit more wood. Even though we got some wood there, I'd like to get a little bit extra. Oh, and speaking of which, we got trees already growing in our planted tree farm, which is awesome. All things considering, we're actually doing alright for ourselves. Like, literally, we're doing not that bad. Okay, so we got the mason's bench now, awesome. Now, let us go and build our next zone, which will have its own little room off here, I figure, which will be a bakery. So let us go and let's build a little room right here. We'll build it, like that. Just build it until we reach the edge. There we go. And here we'll go and have opening right in the center, two-door opening. There we go. And with that, we'll be able to have that all set. Everyone will be happy because they've got they're going to start being able to eat more than just fruit, which the fruit's alright, but the fruit's not the best food in the world either. You can go and make it into good food, which is what we're going to do. Speaking of which, what you do is, if you want to learn how to make food, you go into here, and you go under baking. Here, we require flour. Now, how do we get flour? You may be wondering. So, let us go into our utilities. Anvil. We have cooking fires. Wall. Fluids elevator. That's actually pretty cool. A mill. There we go. That's what we need. We'll go and we'll put that in the bakery along with. Once we go and build the zone for it, that is. So let's now build our bakery zone, which will go right here. In all its beauty. Ooh, we seem to have a little bit of a hole in the roof. You can tell because of those two light spots. Where does that... Actually, we cut grass around top of it, so... I don't exactly know why we have those light spots. Who knows? But anyways, nevertheless, so what we need now is... We require... a mill, which will us create flour. So we'll put that there. We require a baker's table, which we'll put there, and then we require a baker's oven, which we will put there. And with that, we now have our three main resources. Now, one other thing that's very handy is containers. A container, or in this case barrels, are very cool, as in that they have a good amount of storage that they can hold. But the difference between a barrel and like a stockpile is a barrel can only hold one thing, while a stockpile can hold many things. Anyways, let's go and harvest our grass very quickly. And let us go and as well, since we got plenty of it now, chop down our trees. And I think with this amount of wheat, we're actually going to have some stimulus, which means that, hooray, we finally made it to the point where it starts working. So, what we're going to have is a raw food barrel, which will go in here. It's a single one of those. And a prepared food barrel, which will go next to it. Now. So, as we go and wait for our busy workers to finish up their tasks for the day, let us go and as well harvest a little bit of fruit that we can find out. Trying to get these fruit trees to go and start growing back their fruit. We're actually doing perfect when it comes to actually our timing. Because now we have an area full of wheat, we have an area full of trees. I mean, all in all, we've done really well for ourselves. next, we'll probably go and I'll maybe take some of these fruit bushes that we have around here and maybe make a fruit tree farm, which would be very handy. But anyways, nevertheless, we have a man who is busy at work, going and doing his wood detailing, to go and get us our raw food barrel, which we will. I'm trying to think of how to do it. Manage. And what we will go and allow is, we'll disallow everything, and what we will allow in there is flour, because that's what we're going to have plenty of in the very near future. This guy is hungry, it would seem. Why don't you eat, sir? Oh, there we go. Now he's happy with that. And then here, the prepared food barrel will manage, and what we will go and allow for, we'll disallow everything. So let me go back. We'll disallow everything, but we will enable bread. Now we go into our last part, which is the orders menu. This is where we go and order for things to be made. There's two. We have the minimum stock you want and the current order. We want to go and have a minimum of 10 bread on hand, which means we want to go and at all times have 10 bags of flour, which in turn means we need to go and I'm trying to think of how to do this. I think that's all we need to do. I believe people will automatically pick the wheat, go and make the flour, in turn to make the bread. I believe. Don't take me on that 100%. I will, nevertheless, I'll find out in a minute once we start running into issues. But for right now, so there we go. So we have our prepared food barrels, which we now have bread, which now that guy is eating his bread, you know, jolly and merry. So, what's next? Alright, so we now have plenty of wood. We should go and make a wood barrel and a, let's see, so let's go and make a raw materials barrel. And we will go and we'll put this in here with the carpentry stuff. Because hey, you know, we're gonna be needing to make, we're going to need our wood to go and be able to make our stuff, so we'll put that there. And here we'll go and have a stone barrel for stone. Hey, look at that. So now let's go and harvest all this glorious wheat, so that way people can start getting their food. I'm wondering, is there actually a no. Okay, there we go. So now I see it. So we want 10 wheat on hand all the time. There we go. Now I've got it all set up. So we need 10 flour, which in turn means that we need 10 wheat, which in turn means that we can get and have 10 bread. There we go. We're starting to get to places now. Huzzah. Now, next thing's next. We should go and we should really start thinking about getting these bedrooms made. So let's go and make some personal rooms. For the time being, we'll make 3x3 rooms, which will end up being some personal rooms. Now, sadly, it is only, you know, some basic rooms. There's no beds in them just yet, but there will be beds in them in a very short time. After we just go and we place it on these, and there we go. And then we'll go and just for the sake of it, we will go and make our furniture, and we'll make our beds. So let's go and make our beds now. One bed. Two bed. bed, 4 bed. And there we go. Now everyone has their own bed in their own room, which works out for everybody. Here, we're going busily working on catching up on our surplus of wheat to go and make sure that we have enough bread. And since we made these raw material barrels, let's now go and designate these barrels. Okay, so we'll disable all, and we'll enable wood. So we have plenty of wood. And the same with you. Manage you. We'll disable all, and we will enable for you. Oop, not flint, but stone. And there we go. And now people will go and move their stuff over. So go and they bring their wheat into the. Do I now have a wheat barrel? So it would seem I do not have a wheat barrel. Maybe that should be the next thing I make. And that goes into phases of making food. So raw food barrel. Let us go and make a barrel right there. That barrel will be for wheat, which will be fairly simple. So we'll see how actually our orders are doing. People are making our bread, which is trying to be made as fast as it can. But the case of the matter is that our wheat field is not being harvested. What we should do is instead make everyone get on this. Go and help with the stimulus of food. This here. Having food is an unnecessary thing to have in general. Here, if we don't have enough food, then we run into the issue of having people starve and having a massive issue. But luckily, it seems like we're starting to get on the top of that. Anyways, I've just realized that we're hit up the wrapping up point, so will we survive into part 3? Who knows? But check back next time. So, as always, this has been Cell, and take it easy!